So today I want to talk about the difference between my 20s and my 30s. So I've been doing a lot of self-reflecting. I met a lot of family. A lot of my cousins, they're actually in their mid-20s. So it was interesting seeing what their priorities are now that they're, working, young adults now. A lot of them been working for like maybe 3, 4 years. And it's funny because they're all like working out, right? And it kind of reminded me like when I was in my 20s, all I focused on was working out and then making money. Like that was a very simple life back then, right? Just literally go to work, make money, and go to the gym. And now that you make money, you can actually enjoy buying things for yourself without asking your parents. You can travel, eat out, do whatever you want to do because you had your own money. And it felt very good, right? So in my 20s, I just wanted to make money, move up in my career, and then exercise. So I was like really, really like buff back then, and that was my priority. But as I shifted to my 30s, fortunately, like exercise, the priority of exercise went down. I'm trying to get back into it, but as I was starting to build up my real estate portfolio, as I started to, plan for financial freedom, as I started to move up my career, as life started to hit you, you know, it thing exercise became less of a priority, and for me, it's just more about like um, lifestyle, my well-being, because I hit the point where like I have enough money. I made a decent amount of money just through my W-2 job and now through real estate that it doesn't bring me any much more happiness or joy if I were to make money. Like at this point, I'm making money to just invest for the future, but it doesn't really impact my today, right? So like my day to day for the most part stays the same, but my all the money I'm making now is just for my future self. So it's not as motivating, and I know that I'm lucky to be in this position. I worked hard to be in this position. So it's really a different mindset, a different mentality when doing all this. Like now I'm like, yeah, I could make extra $5,000, $10,000, but it doesn't necessarily improve my quality of life today, right? Then I was like talking to my cousin who's like my age, and he was just like, yeah, I experienced the same thing. Like, I he got laid off and started traveling the world for like 4 months, and got to have that experience, and it's just like, well, it's nice to have that money, but like it didn't necessarily improve my lifestyle. But traveling and having experiences and like doing things that you can do when you're in your 30s before you have kids and before you're married is only certain things that we can do. So it's been really interesting seeing that transition in my life, and then now seeing my cousins entering the life that I basically used to have, right? So it was very eye-opening in terms of that sense. So, kind of fast forward to today. My focus for the past 3 years was building a lot of wealth and trying to retire early and hit, fat fire, with, $20,000 a month by 35. That was actually my goal for the longest time. But I think that goal was like really stressing me out. So I pivoted to the goal where like, okay, I hit about $10,000 a month at, 33, almost 34, and realized that even if I got to like 20K a month by 35, I don't think it would necessarily improve my quality of life more. I probably would still work because I need to like save up for a house. I need to work because I'm doing a bunch of stuff. So it's really a mindset shift that I had to do, right? So it's like, okay, like, am I just chasing this number? Like, what, I need $20,000? In reality, for me, if I really boil it down, I just want independence, like independence to do what I want, whenever I want, with who I want, on my own terms, right? Like, if I want to wake up today and don't want to do anything, then I just wake up today and not do anything. If I feel like working today, then I'll go to work, right? But when you work a W-2, you're obligated to, meet deadlines and wake up Monday through Friday and show up and do things that you may not want to do. So that's kind of the spiritual journey that I've gone through in my 30s. And it's kind of funny too, like in terms of like human biology and human psychology. Most guys, they have the prefrontal cortex. It takes a lot longer for that to develop. So because of that, guys are not, don't have as much emotional intelligence, are not self-reflective until they're like in their early 30s, right? Like when I was in my 20s, mid 20s to late 20s, I was in conquer mode. I wanted to conquer everything, right? I wanted to move up in my pharmacy career and become a pharmacy director, and I did that. I wanted to buy a lot of real estate. I wanted to do a lot of things, right? Just very, very ambitious. Just want to conquer without really reflecting on why I'm doing it. I just kind of did it without really any question, right? So it's been pretty interesting. But now that I'm in my 30s, I'm a lot more like self-reflective. I'm a lot more cognizant of like, oh, how does this make me feel? Like, is it worth it? Like, why am I doing this? Right? It's just becoming more self-reflective. And why that happens for guys in their early 30s is because like that's when the prefrontal cortex is like fully developed, right? Like that's when we have more emotional intelligence, when we're more self-reflective, when we go on a more spiritual journey. So it's been an interesting, pause for me now that, I'm kind of done with the grind period for now. My real estate stabilized. So my mobile home park, my 2 apartment complex are stabilized. I've been at my current job for a while now. So now I've got a chance to pause and really reflect on like what I want to do, what my goals are, and, how my mindset has changed over the, past 3 years, right? Because this is the first time for 2 months I've been pausing and trying to get my life in order or back in order and reprioritize like what I want to do. And for me, I'll make a video on this too, but my goals for 2024 is to get back into shape, right? Like, I was in really good shape when I was like 26, 27, 28, and I kind of let that go during COVID when I was building my wealth, but I don't want that to be the excuse anymore. Like, I should be able to be in the best shape of my life now, right? And I know exactly how to do it. It just requires consistency, timing, and making it a priority, right? So I want to scale back a little bit on the wealth building a little bit and then focus more on health, right? Like health is wealth, right? You heard that cliche. So I want to do that. I want to focus more on like traveling. So I have a lot of trips planned, right? Like I'm going to go camping in my Tesla actually during New Year's in Vegas. Going to document that journey. I'm going to go travel to Japan for like 2 weeks, and then I'm going to go to, kind of a work-related trip in Dallas, but explore Dallas. So I really want to focus on like, traveling again and why I'm working hard to make this money in the first place, right? Because I want to enjoy it. And so really go balance it out, right? So, life is one huge balance. And I was towards one end, which is like hard work, but now I'm shifting over to the other end where I want to focus on myself and to do things that I want to do, right? Because what's the point of having all this money if you can't like enjoy your life or you can't do what you want to do, right? So for me, it's just really traveling and doing new experiences. And so definitely going back that way. And I'm like a frugal person by nature, but now I'm going to spend on things that I think it's worth it, right? Like if it's worth it for me to have this experience, and let's just do it, right? Like I'm at the phase of life where, starting kid and family in the next, 5 years. So be able to do stuff that I can do before having a kid, it's limited. So, that's why I want to focus on, like, I need to do this stuff before I start a family. So I've been feeling that sense of urgency on that end. So overall, just hopefully you got some value on what it's like between my 20s and my 30s. I know a lot of my viewers, they're in their like 25 to 35, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to kind of the self-reflections that I've had. And it's interesting seeing my body decline, where I used to be able to work out and be okay the next day, but now I work out hard, like my joints start to hurt. So you have to really think about what exercise you should do or not do. But hopefully you found value from this video, and hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much.